Hello, what's going on everybody? This is Jay from Maji and Jay. Today we're going to be talking about the Doogee Leo DG280 that I got from the website dhk.com. The seller is IPS and I paid less than $90 for this phone, and I gotta say guys that it is quite impressive, but like many Chinese devices, it has its pros and cons. Have in mind guys that again this is less than $90, so we really can't expect much when it comes to the camera and also the display. That's because we have a 4.5 inch, it is a 2-point touchscreen with a resolution of 854 by 480, so that's less than QHD. And even though we can't see it in the naked eye, or at least from this camera, the resolution is quite poor. On the top here, we're going to have the proximity and light sensor. We also got the ear speaker, which is very loud. We have a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera. On the bottom, we're going to have the menu key, the home key, and the back key. On the left side, we find here the power button, and then we also got the Doogee logo on the frame. On the right side, we're going to have the volume rockers up and down, together with, again, the Doogee logo here on the right side as well. On the bottom, we find the microphone, the charging/data port, and have in mind that this phone is also going to support OTG. And then on the back here, we're going to have a 5 megapixel sensor camera with the LED flash, and we can see that on the back, we have a very similar material to the Samsung Galaxy S5. It has the dotted back here, and it's rubberized, so feels actually very nice in your hand, and you feel like you're grabbing your device and it's not going to fall off your hands. Finally, here on the bottom, we're going to have the loudspeaker, and the loudspeaker is quite decent, again considering the price of this phone. If you open the back here, we're going to notice that this is a dual SIM, dual standby device. And now the great news about this phone is that not only is it very cheap, but also supports 3G here with AT&T and T-Mobile. And then here we can see guys that the construction of it is not the strongest out there, but that is expected for a phone that's cheap. Then inside here, we're going to have an 1800 milliamp battery. As we can see right there, it is a 3.8 volts. Inside, we're going to have the IMEI information, and here we can see the bands, 850, 1900, and 2100. This is required here for the USA in order to support, again, 3G with AT&T and T-Mobile. That was something very nice about this phone, because not only is cheap, but also supports 3G. This is definitely recommended, I would say, for kids, or for people who just break phones constantly. This phone is very nice, and I would say that for the most part is quite solid as well. That's because the case here on the back, or the back cover, is also a case type of I would say cover, because as we can see, it's protecting the edges and it looks like a case actually. So this was something very impressive about the Doogee company. It's flexible, and again it's rubberized, so that means that if you drop this phone, most likely it's going to survive. And now jumping back here to the front, we're going to go ahead and power on this device, and we're going to see here the Doogee logo. Now some cons about this phone, I'm going to tell them right away, is that the menu key, the home key, and the back key don't light up. We also got only a 5 megapixel sensor on the back, and then the resolution is only 854 by 480, so it is not the best resolution out there. Other than that guys, this device performs quite well, and we're going to see that in just a moment. It comes with 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of internal storage, and it is running the Android Kitkat 4.4.2. Okay, and now that the phone has booted up, here we can see the lock screen. The lock screen is very simplistic, nothing very special here. We also got on the top the time, you have the date. The cool thing about this phone is that it does support gesture wake, so let's say you guys from sleep mode, you want to open certain applications. For instance, the letter C is going to take me directly into the camera. I would just write here the letter C, and the phone is going to wake up and take me directly into the camera, which is a very nice feature. Also, if you just want to look at the time and you don't have time to press the button because the phone is on your desk, you can just double tap it and the screen is going to wake, and it's going to show you the time and also the date, which I think is a very nice feature. Also supports air gestures, but it's only going to work for certain applications, like for example the gallery here. Let's say you guys are viewing your pictures and you want to scroll through the pictures without touching the screen, then you can do so by just hovering your finger or your hand over the sensor. Now it is not very sensitive, but as you guys can see, it is currently working. Again, it is not super sensitive, but it's going to work and do its job for the most part. I think that's also a nice feature. We have here the Android, again 4.4.2, and we're going to see that here on settings. If you go all the way to the bottom, we go into about device, we can see that yes, it is the Android Kitkat. And the great thing about Doogee is that they do not fake their operating system, so this is going to be real, and I have already confirmed it. I downloaded this application. It is called Google Camera. I think it's going to be this one right here, and yes it is. As you guys can see, I am right now operating with the Google Camera. And now talking about the camera, that's one of the first tests we're going to do. I just want to show you guys that the camera on this device, even though it is only 5 megapixels, it's going to be quite poor as well. I think that the quality is not the best, and it is expected. So make sure you guys check the next footage and let me know what you think. Okay guys, and here we got the 5 megapixel sensor of the Doogee Leo DG280, and as we can see guys, the quality is not very good. That is expected for a 5 megapixel sensor camera. Have in mind that this is a budget phone, so the camera is not going to perform the way we want to, but for the most part it's going to do its job. And now let's test the front-facing camera. Alright guys, and here we have the 1.3 megapixel camera of the Doogee Leo DG280. As we can see guys, it is expected the quality is not as good as we may think. Have in mind that this is only 1.3 megapixel camera and the phone is a budget device, so the camera is not going to be as good as the rear camera, but at least it's on there. Okay guys, and now that we have checked the quality of the camera, here we have the UI of the actual camera application, and we can see that it is very simplistic. Again, not too many features on here. We can also access the front-facing camera. We're going to see that the quality is very choppy. It is not too good. I would say that this can barely work for selfies, not too much. I would say that if you guys don't need to use it, then don't, because you're going to be quite upset with the quality of it. Let's go here into picture quality, and let's scroll down, and here we can see that it goes up to 5 megapixels, as you guys can see right there. And then the front-facing camera, on the other hand, is going to be 1.3 megapixels. Let's confirm that as well, so that way you guys can see that everything is accurate on this phone. Let's scroll down, and here we can see guys that the max quality is 1.3 megapixels. But again, have in mind that this phone is less than $90, and it does carry the MTK6582. It is the quad-core processor clocked at 1.3 gigahertz. And here we have the scoring that Untitled Test gave it, and it was about 19,000, almost 20,000. So that was actually something quite impressive, and it has erased. So what we're going to do on this video, we're going to go ahead and test it. But first of all, let's kill all the applications. To do so, you hold and press here the home button, and then we can kill all of them. That way we can make an accurate Untitled Test. And let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty guys, and here we have the score of this device. It was about 19,668, so almost 20,000. And then here on info, we can find that the brand is Doogee, the model Leo DG280. Here we have the operating system. It is a 32-bit operating system. And I'm just going to scroll down so that you guys can see the remaining of the information. So everything about this phone is going to be accurate and correct, as we can see right here. You also have just a few sensors supported, but I have this application that I prefer to use that gives you the accurate sensors that we have on this device. And here we have it. Let's go back once here, and we do have the accelerometer, the light sensor, proximity sensor, and we also got the sound sensor, which is the microphone on the bottom here, but there are many missing as well. I would say that the most important one here is going to be the accelerometer for gaming and whatnot. Also, another con about this phone is that it is only a 2-point touch, so that means that on certain applications you guys are going to have a hard time playing games and whatnot. But again guys, this is a budget device. This is not a high performing device, but I gotta say that for less than $90 it's actually performing quite well, better than I thought it was. And now here we're going to go ahead and test now the GPS. The GPS on this phone is quite impressive. I will say that it is tremendous, considering that we don't have to root it and we don't have to hack it in order to get it working. So make sure you guys check the next clip and let me know what you think. And now we got here the GPS test of the Doogee Leo 280, and as you guys can see, it is currently working well. The great news is that we don't need to root it or customize it in order to get it working. It comes like this right out of the box. That's definitely a plus, because as we know, rooting these devices can sometimes break it or even void the warranty. And now let's test it from inside of the house. Okay guys, and there we have it for the GPS test. The next thing we're going to do is open here the GPS application, but before we do that, let's go ahead and kill all the tasks, because I have opened it before, so that way I can make a fair testing here. Let's open the application. We're going to see how fast this is going to actually lock us in. Now guys, it only takes about, I would say, 5 to 10 seconds at the most from inside of the house, and here we can see that the reception is very strong. And like I said before, we don't have to root it or hack it in order to get it working. It comes like this right out of the box, so that was definitely a plus. The next thing we got here is my little Bose speaker. We're going to test now the actual Bluetooth so that we can see that it is also working well. And right now I have it on Perry mode. If you go here into settings, we go to Bluetooth, which I believe is somewhere around here. There we go. And now we're going to search for devices. It's going to take a few seconds here. Right now it is in Perry mode still. I would say it takes like any other Android device about 10-15 seconds at the most to actually read it. And now that we are connected, we go back once here, like always. We're going to go to audio profiles, and the reason I use ringtones, guys, is because most of these songs that we have nowadays, they have copyrights. So YouTube gets a little bit strict with it. So for that reason, I just decided to use ringtones as it is much easier and safer. So here we have all the ringtones. Let's go ahead and check the quality here. And there you heard it, guys. The reaction time is actually pretty nice. And now we're going to be testing here the bottom speaker on the back. I think it's quite loud. Let's go ahead and check it out, and I'll just let you guys give me your personal opinion about this speaker. To me, it's very nice and clear. It has a lot of treble to it. So I was overall satisfied with the back speaker. I think it's quite loud once again, and also when viewing videos, here we're going to test it with YouTube. I think it's quite impressive as well. And of course, YouTube is working perfectly well. Now the only bad news is that you guys have to download it on your own, or you can just root the device and install it directly into the system. That way, you guys happen to reset the device, it's not going to disappear. And here, as we can see, YouTube is currently functioning. So let's go into my uploads. And here we have all my uploads. Let's go ahead and open here the latest video that I made about the L-Phone P5000. This is a very nice phone, and the review is coming very soon. And here we're going to actually see in just a moment that it is working quite well. Now the quality when viewing videos, guys, is going to be quite poor. It's only 360p, and that's because of the resolution of the screen. It doesn't allow me to go up to 720p. That's because we don't have an HD display, even though it does look nice, and the colors for the most part are very vivid, as we can tell right here. And have in mind that this is an IPS display, so on viewing angles it's going to have nice colors, but the only downside is that videos cannot play on at least 720p, which is my acceptable resolution. And now here, like always, I have downloaded some applications and games, so I'm going to go ahead and test the device with you guys, so that way you can see the overall performance. So make sure you guys enjoy it. Guys, and there we witnessed the performance of this phone, and as we can see, it is not bad at all. I think it's performing quite well. And also, I would like to mention before I forget that this phone does support OTG. I think I mentioned that earlier, but here we're going to actually go ahead and test it. And right now it's going to read it as damaged memory. That's because we don't have a TF card installed on here, but at least we're going to connect it on the bottom. And we're going to notice, guys, that it is going to read it here from the notifications. It's going to read it as a damaged external USB storage. But we can also connect other accessories like mice, keyboards, and even remote controllers for gaming. So that's definitely a plus. I also have here my little weight scale, so that way we can weight this device. It is actually quite light, and I believe I have it in pounds right now, but we're going to set it up in grams. And now here, when we put it on top, this device is exactly 135 or 34 now. It's 134 grams, so it is not very heavy and it's not very light either, I would say. But it is more towards the light side, and it feels actually very nice and comfortable in your hand. As you can see, this is a one-handed device. You can reach the entire screen with just your thumb. Something that a lot of people prefer, sometimes myself. It's very comfortable when you guys are texting. It feels very nice. And now I gotta say, guys, that this phone is definitely recommended for those who are looking for a budget device, or maybe you plan to give it to your kid as the first smartphone. As a matter of fact, I am planning to give this to my daughter, and it's going to be actually her first smartphone. The reason I say that is because this phone, again, is not too expensive, and also the casing here in the back is very nice and protective in case that they drop it. You know, kids, they have accidents all the time. They are very hyper for the most part, and they like to run and play. It is normal for a kid. So for that reason, you don't want to give them a very expensive device. Then I would recommend this phone as their first smartphone because it's very nice and it's fun. It comes in many different colors, and here I have chosen the blue color. But they come in pink, yellow, and many other colors that kids like. So I would definitely recommend it for that purpose. And now, with that being said, the next thing we're going to do here is go ahead and test the browser. Here we're going to go ahead and open the application itself. And right now I am connected to the Wi-Fi, and my Wi-Fi router is on the other side of the house. And here we're going to open, let's say for instance, ebay.com. You're going to see that it's going to load quite fast, and that is expected because again, this is Wi-Fi. Let's open here another website, let's say YouTube, and we're going to also see that YouTube was very fast and snappy there. And now, of course, we're going to go ahead and turn off the Wi-Fi. We're going to see that this is supporting 3G with T-Mobile, as you guys saw when I was doing the testing. There we can see the 3G logo once again, and now we're going to reload the same application or website, just to call it like that. And here we can see that it loaded quite fast. Now let's open here DHgate, let's see here, .com. I think this is going to take me directly into Google. And as we can see guys, on 3G it is working quite well. So on that side, I'm very satisfied with this phone and impressed at the same time. And the last thing we're going to do here is go ahead and make a phone call test, so that way you guys can check the quality. So let's go ahead and dial here 611. And now we're going to place it on loudspeaker.
T-Mobile. Para continuar en español, diga español o marque 2.
And now we're testing here the ear speaker. And now, even though you guys can't probably hear the ear speaker, the quality is very nice. I was able to make phone calls outside without any issues with the wind noise or traffic noise. This is something that a lot of people are looking forward to, because myself, I hate when a device has low volume on the ear speaker. It's very hard to listen. But with this device, you guys are not going to have that issue. And with that being said, I think I have concluded this video. But like always, if you guys do have any questions, please don't forget to comment down below. Please like the video, share it as well, as it does help me a lot. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.